Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I am Lorianne Casdia. Our goal here at Healthy Lifestyle is to inspire, educate, and empower you to fulfill a healthy, emotional, spiritual, and physical life so you can feel empowered to live the life you have always wanted and dreamed. Welcome to the show. I hope you're having a really great day. I am Coach Lorianne. I'm a transformational success coach, a #1 international best-selling author, an award-winning inspirational speaker, and a humanitarian, and I'm so excited to have you all here. Today on Healthy Lifestyle, we're going to give you some verbal caffeine and light you up with possibilities with our guest today, Kevin Roth. He's known as an internationally known dulcimer player, singer, songwriter. He's a life coach, a recording artist. He's a superstar, quite frankly, and we're honored to have him here. His recording career began in 1974 with the prestigious folk music label Folkways Records, which is Smithsonian, where he recorded 14 albums. You can find him on every platform available, and he is also an author of the book Between the Notes. You can find that on Amazon. He started recording award-winning children's music on his own label. He sang the theme song, get this, for the hit PBS television show Shining Time Station, and composed and performed several music videos, gaining millions of fans worldwide. And Kevin has recorded 51, yes, I'm not joking, 51 albums of dulcimer music, including Dulcimeditation, which we're going to talk about because all of you know that I'm a Kundalini meditative practitioner. So he and I have a lot to talk about, and he has performed around the world and won numerous awards, and I could go on and on and on. And it goes even deeper than this, but we're going to invite him in. Kevin, thank you so much for being here, Kevin Roth.
No, thanks for having me. Good to be here.
So happy to have you here. So, oh my goodness, you have quite the story, Kevin. You went through a lot of changes, and you had all of this success and did all of this music, and really was out there a successful performing artist, won all kinds of awards. And then what happens?
Well, I had and I still have a music career, but I kind of burned out from touring and recording around 1998, and I took a break and then gradually went back to it. But in 2013, on a routine dermatology appointment, they discovered that I had melanoma. And then, to make a long story short, they then told me I had stage 3 melanoma, and although they removed it, there is no real cure for it, and they thought that it would return within a year and I'd be dead within 2. So that was 2015, and it never came back, and here I am. So I moved, yeah, then I changed my life, which we'll talk about, and eventually became a life coach and continue to be a musician.
Yeah, I'm going to circle back to that. But right now, I just tell us about your music career, because it's so interesting. Our listeners would love to hear about this.
Well, I grew up playing the piano by ear. And then when I was 13, I saw an instrument called the mountain dulcimer. And I just loved it. And I started to play it, and then got this notion that I wanted to become rich and famous like my folk heroes, like Peter, Paul, and Mary, and Pete Seeger, and Joni Mitchell. And I had the audacity to think that I was good enough, and I sent a tape to a folk music label called Folkways, and they thought that I had a lot of talent, and they signed me, and I spent 10 years, a decade, recording different dulcimer albums for them and playing concerts and festivals and things like that. And the dulcimer was just becoming popular in the 70s, so I was riding the wave. If you went out to buy a dulcimer album, mine was one of the handful or two that were available. So I was sort of right in the right spot at the right time, as they say.
Yes, well, universe, God, source, however you refer to higher power, had you in the right space at the right time. So it wasn't luck in any way, shape, or form. It was exactly where you were supposed to be. So help our listeners understand what a dulcimer is, because a lot of people don't know what a dulcimer is. Both of my parents were musicians, so when you said it, I was like, why does that sound familiar? And then you reminded me.
So you can actually see pictures of the dulcimer on my website, kevinroth.org, or you can Google mountain dulcimer. But it's basically a lap string instrument with 3 or 4 strings, and it comes from the Appalachian Mountains. And they're very traditional folk players, and then they're very innovative, newer players like myself. It's very sweet sounding. It sounds a cross between a guitar and a harp.
Yeah, yeah. I always liken it to a harp. Yeah, it's such a beautiful, almost angelic sound. So it's no wonder you were brought to that. And obviously, when you were diagnosed with stage 3 melanoma, it changed your life. Did it change your perspective? Because we talk about mindset here on Healthy Lifestyle a lot. Did it change your perspective?
Yeah, as I tell people and I tell my clients, there's nothing like a death sentence to wake you up.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of ask myself what caused the cancer, because I didn't believe it was just sun exposure, although that contributed. And I had been very stressed out for many years. And I had at the time put on a lot of weight and gone through a lot of drama. And I believe that all of those things created it, because stress and inflammation is one of the leading causes of cancer.
Yes.
So I had to say, if you want to live, you have to either get busy living or get busy dying. So you can either change your life or not. And I decided to change it, which required me to ask myself 3 questions, which is what the book Between the Notes is about. And first question is, what really matters?
Ask you, what are the 3 questions?
Yeah, what really matters? Why does that matter? And then what are you going to do about it?
So it's what really matters.
Why does it matter?
Why does it matter? And what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. So for me, it was my music, my art, my dog, and getting out of Kansas. And why is because I wanted to create an authentic life of, people call me sort of like a bohemian. And I saw that happening in Southern California at San Diego. And I wanted it bad enough that I created a way to make it happen. And that was my game plan. And within 6 months, I packed my bags and drove out to San Diego and never left.
Yeah. So I love that just to reframe it a little, I love it that you assessed your life. You asked yourself those 3 questions, which set up what you really wanted. So infrequently are we asked, what do you want? What do you want? And it's a question we don't generally ask ourselves. And I love that. Why does it matter? And what are you going to do about it? Right. So it sets a goal. And once we have a goal and it's clear, we know exactly the steps that we're going to take. I think where the wishy-wash comes in people's lives is in between the actual setting the goals. It's the I wish, which doesn't really do anything. It's actually understand what you want. And we don't understand what we want until we understand what we don't want. You no longer wanted the stress. You didn't want a life that you were living in the past and previously. You wanted to change that. So now you knew what you did want. And the clarity, didn't that help you progress and help you redesign your life?
Yeah, and the first question I ask new clients when they come to me is, what don't you want in your life anymore? Not what do you want, what don't you want? Because a lot of people don't know. But you hear things like, I don't want to be in debt. I'm in a toxic relationship. The kids are gone and I don't know who I am anymore, or I've gotten into, or whatever the situation is. You don't have to stay there, because when we believe our negative thinking, we suffer.
Sure.
And 9 times out of 10, those thoughts aren't even real. So one of the things that I developed for myself was the system of asking myself when sort of the shit hits the fan, so to speak, how big a deal is this? I know it's an inconvenience. You got a flat tire on the road and you didn't renew your AAA membership, but is the world going to end? Do you need to get angry at this? Is this, so everything comes and goes. And so there are tools that I use to get through everything. And they're from eating to exercising, different things, dulcimeditation, because I don't allow stress and anger to hang out very long in my head.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because it's a spiral, right? So you have to stop the momentum as quickly as possible to stay in that positive realm.
Yeah, but first you need what I call mindful awareness. You need to know that you're aggravated. Most people don't even know it. And then you say, okay, so this is a problem. What's the most efficient way to handle it, and how big a deal do I want to make of this?
Yes. Yes, yes. Everything starts with awareness. And we've been talking about that the last few shows is it starts with being aware. Until you're aware, you don't have any ground to know where you're starting from, right? What it is that's bothering you. You have to really take a look at it. And a lot of time we just push through. We don't even look at it, and then it mounds up. I know from my own past, I used to let it just mound up, and I would push it into the closet and push it into the closet, and but eventually the door had to come screaming open and everything piled on. And
Yeah.
that's when you have an opportunity for great change. When you have great tragedy, you have an opportunity to pivot into great change. So and I think that's what you did too, is that you looked at your life and went, yeah, I'm burnt out, I'm tired, I have this health issue, and now I've been given a second chance. I'm changing everything. It's in my control. That is in our control to look at life and not have it take you down for the day. And it's a choice, right? We can choose to be cranky and angry and let it change your whole day, or we can really put it in perspective and look at what are we really dealing with. And it sounds like that's what you did. And when you say you redesigned your life, what did it look like? What did it sound like?
I simplified it. I downgraded to a one-bedroom apartment, which I was thrilled to do. I got rid of all my credit card debt. I got rid of most of my credit cards. I barely use them now. And I decided to, when I became what they call a life coach, I'm more of a teacher, quote, life coach. I decided, when you start, and you probably remember this when you started out in this business, what the hell is a life coach? Who do I talk to? Who's making money at this? How do you become a good one? Do you need to go to a school? Do you need to this? And what came to me was that if I share with people and I teach people exactly what I do, which works, as well as sharing with them things that I tried that no longer work,
Right.
because I like being vulnerable with my clients as well,
Yes.
completely authentic, and then I'm living my work. So my coaching and music isn't my job, it's my joy.
Yeah. 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 Oh, I totally get that. I totally get that. I love the way that you serve others through your experience. So the best way to serve someone, and we do, everybody talks in our industry, in the marketing industry, in lingo, they talk about avatars and things like that. Let me just simplify it. I'm going to take the mysticism out and save you thousands of dollars. Not you, Kevin, because you get this, but our listeners, is our avatar is our former self. It's one stage of our former self, and we are serving that former self. And the reason why is because we have that experience to share, and that you share your life experience and you share the tools you found that worked for you with other people. It helps that hurdle. It jumps it to a faster place. It gets them from where they are to where they want to be so much faster, don't you think?
Yeah, yes. I mean, simple is better, and live your life authentically. But everybody comes with a story, a backstory, and I have I guess a talent for hearing those stories and looking into them. I tend to be kind of psychic, so that's why I like doing all my appointments on Zoom. I can look into people a little bit and find out really what the root cause of all this stuff is.
Yeah.
So if you were raised by parents who told you you weren't good enough, you're going to carry that into your adulthood, and you're going to choose people to be around you who support that.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
you know,
Yes. They confirm what you already carry with you. And,
so
and you have to work at shifting that, though. And that's
if,
where someone like you comes into play.
so like if you play a guitar or a dulcimer or a stringed instrument, you have to tune it. You don't just tune it once a day. You have to tune it a couple times a day if you play it a couple times a day, because of changes in the weather and use and stuff like that. We're like musical instruments. So in the mornings, I usually start out playing some Dulcimeditation for a couple minutes and ask my sort of inner self, what do I need to know? And then throughout the day, I'm always either reading something spiritual or playing music or something, or coaching. So I'm always pretty much in touch with it. But I, I guess I reframed my life 6 years or 7 years